As a child born with a certain energy bias, I soon become aware that I have to negotiate the external world. And for all of us, whatever our familial context, we all had to deal with the world that was around us. No matter what my internal bias, whether I was a fakir, a yogi, or a monk, whether I was intellectually dominated, physically dominated, or emotionally dominated, I had to deal with the early objects in my world. Now for Gurdjieff, there's 3 ways that we deal with the external world. The first one is, the world is bigger than me, so I'm overwhelmed. I'll say that again. The world is bigger than me, so I'm overwhelmed. Now for Gurdjieff, when we have that experience, no matter what essential type we are, we're pushed back to the mechanical part of what he called the mechanical part of the center. So, the world is bigger than me. The second option in dealing with the objects in our early world is that I'm going to make sure I'm bigger than the world. So I'm bigger than the objects outside me. Now for Gurdjieff, whenever we resisted what people put on us and used will and effort to make ourselves bigger, and that may include shyness for Gurdjieff, a way of making ourselves bigger in relationship to early objects, that we move to the intellectual part of the center. And we no matter what original type we are, essential type we are, we move to a part of the center. That is the intellectual part. Now, for many people, there's a third possibility. I've talked about the world being bigger than me. I try to be bigger than the world, the external objects outside me. But I can also try to make a deal, that is trying to make myself the same size, to some way make an emotional pact, to connect. That means I'm moving to the emotional part of the center. That I'm trying to almost make sure that the things outside me are the same size as me. It's almost a lot of energy going into making sure everything's kept in an equal position. That's why, some of you have used the Gurdjieff material. You have this expression, affirming, denying, reconciling. Now, when I try to be bigger than the external objects in my world, I'm affirming. When those objects are bigger than me, I'm denying. When I'm caught in the middle, I'm reconciling, equipoise. Now, it's important that we understand what we're doing. One of the easy ways of doing this is looking at, for Gurdjieff, the fundamental way that we hold attention to tasks. Often, when I help people work out their type, I work from the perspective of trying to understand how they hold attention to task. And that sometimes can be quite simple. For Gurdjieff, if you hold your attention to whatever you're doing mechanically, that is, you need to get into a rhythm and, you need to do the same thing over and over and over again, you're in the mechanical part of the center. If you need to hold your attention through emotionally connecting with the task at hand, and feeling identification with it, you're in the emotional part of the center. If you have to sort of use will and effort and really have a challenge and get involved and know what you're doing and not just going along with the flow, you're in the intellectual part of the center. So, the first thing, if you need to be mechanical and have a set routine, you're in the mechanical part of the center. If you need to emotionally connect with the work you're doing, you're in the emotional part of the center. If you need to have a challenge and you can't just go through the motions, you're in the intellectual part of the center. So once you work that out, really, it is the combination with your essential nature, your essential type, and this adaptation that actually leads us into working out the 9 basic types that I will explain to you at a later date.